Welcome everyone. This is Dr. Sigmon here. I'm welcoming you to Biology 120, and this is our first week in the term at SNHU. This is May 2020, and I want to welcome you to the class. We have a full class. You'll find some fellow students that have things in common with you, and I hope you have some things in common with me too. Let's see, we'll get started this week. Okay, so let's jump right in because I've already introduced myself in a video and in my bio, so you can take a look at those to find out some more about me. Let's get started with what is due this week, and I always give you some tips on how to do things and what's due and when and all that sort of thing. So the first thing for you to do is read chapter 1 in your textbook. Now your textbook is a free textbook. This is important. It saves you money. It is the OpenStax Biology 2nd edition, so it says 2E behind it. That is your textbook for this term. It is easy to access on the internet. You can also download it as a PDF. I will tell you if you do that because I've done it, that the PDF takes about 1,000 years to download because it is so huge. So when I use the textbook, I just look at it online, and it's very easily searchable. It is really easy to use, and it has lots of good information. So please use this as your resource. This is going to be important. You will even see that in the assignments for this week, and I'll mention that as I get to those points. Watch the 2 videos and read the article on giant viruses in the module introduction, and also look at the few PowerPoint slides in the module overview about what you're going to be learning about in this first week. Okay, so then the first thing that's due are some discussion posts. Your initial post will be due by Thursday night at midnight. This is important. Every week your initial post will be due by Thursday night, and then your reply post or response post to other students' posts are due by Sunday night. So your initial post is due by Thursday night. You will introduce yourself to us. This is important because we get to know each other through your introductions. So, tell us whatever you want to about yourself. What's your life situation? What are your career goals? What degree are you seeking at SNHU? What are your interests? What are your hobbies? What's your family situation? Are you working from home right now with COVID-19 so prevalent in the United States? What's your situation right now? Do you have some animals? Do you have pets? I always love that because I'm a true animal lover. So tell us anything like that that you would like to about yourself. Introduce yourself. The next thing that you're going to do is to explain why the scientific method is so important in biology. And you're going to give an example of how you have used it in your everyday life. I literally did this a few minutes ago. I unclogged my garbage disposal. That was fun, all the gunk that comes up out of it. Yep, that was fun. But I used the scientific method. I want to mention just for a minute some components of the scientific method that you probably haven't thought of in the way that real science is done. I know that there are nice little lists about boom, 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 this is what you do, and this is the scientific method. And it seems like it's very simple and straightforward. It is. But it is actually a bit more complicated and a bit more time consuming than just that little list that you see. So for example, before you develop a hypothesis that you can test, you have to know enough background information about your topic in order to ask a really good question. Well, how do you do that? You do that through years of study, through reading and reading and reading on the topic so that you are really an expert in this particular area. So you can see that that would take you a while to do. You can't just come up with an idea off the top of your head and expect to have any credibility when you try to publish your work. So you have to do a lot of background research before you get started with your experiments. that leads me to experiments. So what about experiments? When you do biology labs, you tend to do the lab one time. Now, if it's a really good lab, you will replicate the whole process 3 times. That's time consuming. Okay, I hate to tell you, but in science, you don't even replicate 3 times. You do an experiment over and over and over and over and over again until you are absolutely certain that this phenomenon that you're looking at is actually happening. It's not just some quirk of nature. It's just not some lucky thing that has happened. That it really and truly is reproducible. So that's important. And also, after you've done all your experimentation and you write all this up, you send off this write-up to a journal. A journal is basically a scientific magazine. Most of these are online these days, which is good, and they cost a lot less than they used to. But the reason for this is that you are showing the world what you have done. You are showing the scientific community what you have done. And then next comes the peer review process. You may have done this in a class before where one classmate read your paper. All right, this is not peer review. Peer review is anyone in the world can look at your work and critique it. Anyone. And they will. You better believe it. And the whole reason for this is to keep science honest. It is a really, really important part of the process. Sometimes some scientists have gotten caught by doing the wrong things. There have been a number of examples of this throughout history, but even in the last couple of decades. And scientists have been caught. Some are really, really famous. And because they're really famous, people were afraid to contradict them. But eventually, the truth comes out. So that's a really important part of the scientific process. I just wanted to explain to you that the scientific process is not just a simple little step-by-step process, and then boom, you're finished with it. All right, on back to your discussion post. Your 2 responses to other students' posts are due by Sunday night. Include what you have in common and share some tips and resources that you use to help you be successful in your online classes. Now, I want to say something about response posts. It's not just, wow, Shannon, you did a super job on explaining the scientific method. No. It has to be full of some information, your response post does. It has to be meaningful. It can't just be, attaboy, you did a great job. I mean, that is super to do. Don't get me wrong there. But it has to be full of some information too, and a real response to that person's post. So don't forget that, and I'll be mentioning that again, I'm sure, as the weeks progress. And then what is also due this week is your first journal entry. And this is assignment 1-2 because it's the second thing that you're doing besides the discussion post. And the title of this entry is To Be or Not to Be Alive. So you have to know the characteristics of life. Do not just Google this. You Google, what are the characteristics of life? And you get a nice list. Use the list in chapter 1 in the textbook. It won't take you a second to find them in that textbook, I promise. So please use that instead of just Googling this. Because if you do, I'm going to know it, and that's going to take away from the work that you're doing. Because we need to be on the same page as to our sources of information. So, you can also watch a video, and I will put the link to this video in the announcement along with this video, so that you can get to it about defining life and discerning what is growth and development, what is reproduction, and that sort of thing. Okay, so that's what's due this week. Let me keep going. Now, I want to give you some hints for this course. Number 1, watch my videos in the announcements. I post them every week. I will either post them on Sunday night or Monday morning. I make a new announcement every single week, at least one, a new announcement, and I have a video along with that. Well, you say, oh, are you kidding me? That's another 20 minutes that I have to do something because I have so much to do. And yeah, I agree with you. You're going to have a lot to do. If you take 2 courses, that's even more. If you're working, that's even more. If you have a family, that's even more. I mean, I understand that, but watch my video because I give you hints. I give you resources. I help you with this week's assignment. So be sure and watch my videos. I try to keep them short. All right, deadlines are very important in this class. Remember, Thursdays and Sundays. Your initial discussion post is always going to be due by Thursday. Everything else is going to be due by Sunday night. So remember the deadlines. Follow your guidelines and rubric for each assignment. What are guidelines? That's telling you step by step what you need to do, what format you need to use, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document. Your rubric tells you how this is going to be graded, how many points will be taken off. If you don't have an introduction, or if you don't use any references. So look at the rubric also. That tells you how many points will be taken away and how this particular assignment will be graded. Also, read the feedback that I give you. This is going to be tremendously important when you start working on your final project, and we will talk more about that in the coming weeks. Read the feedback that I give you. This is going to be very important for you because this will tell you what you need to fix before you move on to the next step, especially remember with that final project. Label everything with your name, with the course, with the date. Label, label, label everything. So I don't have any question about whose is whose and what's what. Also tell me what assignment this is. So journal 1-2, whatever. Okay. And when in doubt, or when you're in trouble, when you have a question, when you're stumped on cellular respiration and you have no clue what I'm talking about, what the book is talking about, what the video is talking about, ask me, please. I read my email messages very often. I will get back to you. I also will have hangout sessions on Sunday night. I'm not having one tonight, but I'll have sessions on Sunday evenings, 6 to 7 Eastern time is usually when I do, so that we can meet face to face. I can do other times if you'd like. That would be awesome. We can get together. You can ask me questions face to face, through email, however you like, but you need to ask me if you need some help. If you get stuck, ask me. I am here to help you. And I hope we're going to have a wonderful term. I know that we are, and we're going to learn lots of biology, and I hope you become interested in it. And watch out, you're going to find out that my hobby is digital photography, and so I'm going to include a lot of my own pictures. Sorry, but that's the way it goes, because I can. So anyway, let me know if you need anything this week. I'm here for you. I'll be talking with you on the discussion board. Have a wonderful week.